Hello! My name is Second Wind 814, and I just got back from seeing Insidious The Last Key. Essentially, this fourth entry in the Insidious franchise. Now, full disclosure before I begin, I have never seen any of the other Insidious movies, so I'm coming into this with a fresh face. And, well, the basic. This movie is essentially a jump scare movie. There's not really very many scary parts except the jump scares. Yes, it's one of those movies that relies on jump scares to scare you. Now, thankfully, they're not constantly in your face. There are a lot of times here where there could be a jump scare that they don't do it. But for the most part, this movie relies on the jump scares to scare you. Now, basically, this movie is about this woman named Elise, who is a psychic who essentially helps people with paranormal problems, or basically, I guess, helps them when they're dealing with demons. So, and in this one, it's basically the demon is essentially in her childhood home. So, home. Now basically, the movie is, well, not scary, like I said, except the jump scares. There are a few parts near the end, but really, So, if one of basically, she's part of this team called Spectral Sightings, and they're basically the two paranormal investigators who work with her, and her assistants, or the guys who work with her, are some of the most cringy performances I have ever seen. Ugh. So, the one guy, Tucker, he's basically constantly the girl after a woman. And then the other guy, Specs, is basically a nerd. So, well, yeah. And I'll get to that later. But I want to start out by saying that there are a couple of angles here. Well, I shouldn't say a couple, but there are some are about, I'd say, one or two angles in this storyline that, okay, I'm getting ahead of my, probably, well, there is, excuse me. Sorry about that, lost my train of thought. Anyways, so as I was saying, there's a storyline in this one that really just feels unnecessary. And the one thing that for example, that storyline is how when they come to help this confront a demon in this lady Elisa's childhood home. This one guy, it turns out, is a psycho who is basically holding a girl hostage, or this woman hostage. And the thing is, this really goes nowhere. It's revealed early on in the movie, and it just kind of goes nowhere. I mean, you could consider it the fact that it basically leads up to this demon that she's facing, but other than that, it's really a storyline that goes nowhere here, because the nerd is the one who ends up killing him, basically by dropping a piece of heavy furniture on his head. So this demon and the man with the keys. This demon, unfortunately, isn't very interesting. And once again, I have never seen the original, in any of the others, so I have no idea. I have nothing to compare it to. But this demon is, well, uninteresting. Mainly because of the fact that well, he's not. He doesn't really pose a big threat. Well, I shouldn't say he doesn't pose a big threat, but we don't really get to see much of him until the end. We see a little bit of him in the beginning, and then we see more of him in the end. But other than that, I personally never really felt like he was a big threat. So yeah, the main storyline here is basically focused on how Elise and her conflict between this childhood demon. Now, well, there is the storyline between her and her brother, or other, and of course her other, or basically when she comes back home, she meets her brother, who was basically angry at her for running away from her childhood home. And basically this is all explained in flashbacks. Next, essentially what happened is she lived, I guess, next to a prison, and her father, I think, was the warden or an officer. It's never really explained. But basically, her father was essentially abusive because he was afraid of her gift. But, yeah, so, yeah, essentially, and that's explored later in the film. Sorta. But essentially, this demon is that demon, and the man with the keys, he's trying to open all the red doors, and he's trying to go. I guess he's trying to come into our world, but he lives in this dimension called the Further, I guess. And unfortunately, it's just not very interesting. So, yeah. Unfortunately, like I said, I just never found this demon very threatening. Creepy, yes. Yes. And yeah, he does attack like one of the brother's daughters. So that's threatening, but the thing is, he never really had that vibe. He never really had that fear about it like other horror movie demons do. He never really had that sense that this is a major threat. So unfortunately, that kind of fell flat. And the only other really storyline we have here is the relationship between Elise and her father, which it's revealed that basically Elise does not like her father later or near the end of the movie. The thing is, now I will say that I did the concept of being able to travel into this spirit world, or the Further as it's called. I think it's kind of interesting, but I mean the concept itself is interesting, but the dimension itself, is just not that interesting. So yeah, unfortunately, for me, it just doesn't have that same feel as other weird dimensions might. So, oh yeah. Unfortunately, when we do see the demon in the real world, when he attacks the one daughter there, I mean that's definitely a threat. But other than that, still not that. I still don't. To me, he's still not that threatening. So, yeah. And like I said, for me, at least this movie had no tension. There was not really parts that made me hit me scared. Most of the time, I was just kind of leaning far back in my chair or trying to prep myself for the next jump scare. Yeah, because that's basically what this movie uses to scare you, is jump scares. And there are some, and unfortunately, a lot of them are not really good jump scares. And I'm not saying that they're all over the place. It's not like some horror movies that basically have something jumping out at you every 5 minutes. But the thing is, these jump scares, they're sudden, and they're a lot more jump than scare. Here. There. 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 So, yeah. And not to mention, this movie, and because of all this, this movie is just kind of, well, boring. Is it bad? No. But it just, I just didn't feel anything except well, that, well, yeah, it's a jump scare movie, and that's kind of it. No real special here. So, yeah, and that's about it for Insidious: The Last Key. I could talk about some of the characters, but yeah, not much to talk about there. Here, so unless there is Elise's assistants, Tucker and Specs, who I've already said are incredibly freaking cringy. Like, there's this one end scene where they're in a diner, or in, I guess, Elise's hometown, and the two daughters walk in, and the one guy, unassistant Tucker, he's basically trying to constantly hit on him, and it is cringy as hell. Literally. So yeah, that's about it. So, my final rating for this movie is a 3 out of 10. Boring. No horror, no scares except the jump scares, but at the same time, probably not entirely garbage. Although, would I recommend going to see it? Nah, I'd say skip this one. After all, it is a January movie. So, yeah. There you have it. Insidious: The Last Key. 3 out of 10. Don't go see it. So, and well, that about wraps up for this video. My name is Second1814. Thank you so much for watching. And would always be at your back. See you next time.